I'm still in the frame. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's all right. Just can't go any further than that. This doesn't give me a lot, but I don't have to look. Oh, am I recording? I think I was recording me talking myself about it. Okay. Hi, gang. Hello. Hi. Thanks for hanging with Denny. Cut. Action. Hang with Denny. Taskers. I was even thinking about that, like the training thing. Like, thanks for joining us on this training video. Yeah, like the.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me in my training video. Come hang with Denny. I got my Make Great America wall. Here, I built a little form just to kind of give you an idea of what's behind your wall. So for you DIYers, if you've never seen your house from the inside out, we talked about 16 on center. I built this one. Some of your commercial buildings are, they're actually 24 inches on center, 2 feet. We were on a job today. It was actually a residential, but it was a new construction, like a high-rise downtown, kind of high-end condominium. And they were also steel framed, 2 foot on center. So you can check your local codes. A lot of times if you have like crown molding, you'll know that that's lath and plaster. That's going to be wood framed, but at 2 feet. So this is actually, I have 2 feet here too. This was just the little drywall. You can buy these little sections so you don't have to bring a whole sheet home if you're doing like patches or whatever. So I just made this real simple, just real fast. If you're a pro, you're gonna see there's like some things here that aren't good. It's not toe-nailed or whatever. If you're a pro, you probably shouldn't be watching this video. But for the rest of us, this is 16 on center. So I could show you those measurements. There's little notches in there. But just to give you an idea what your walls look like from the inside. And the reason why I did this was because I want to show you some popular anchors and toggles that we use. The ones we use today for the TV installs, because it was steel frame, we actually used the toggle. So you actually drill through the steel frame and then put this like similar kind of nut on behind it. So I'll show you that at some point. You can use these in drywall, particularly like televisions, large pictures or mirrors that are really heavy. Sometimes we use those. They don't work as good for those because there's no tension, so they're kind of like drag a little bit. You can still use them because they're not going to come out of the wall, but they're not ideal for like getting centered and that kind of thing. But they are great for like using like flush mount TVs because they're really simple. Once you get them in, you can reuse them. You can, if you have to readjust, you can take them back out. You don't lose them. It's not like the old school toggles. I don't have any of theirs. So I can show you like the butterflies. They're spring load. You stick them in, and they work once. So if you take it out, you lose that part of it. These, they actually kind of zip tie. So maybe I'll show you this first. So I got the drill here and 1/2 inch drill bit, which is actually out of the frame. Excuse me. And if you saw my video on the quick truck use, just see that I get that in there pretty fast. But I want to set this up a little bit to drill. I probably won't drill into the wood with this, so that's okay. So just a real quick, I'll put a hole in here. Actually, let's do the TV mounting. No, it's not handy. So I'll just to show you, we're going to drill a 1/2 inch hole for these. I think these are the 3/8 inch, so they use a 1/2 inch hole. We usually use the 1/4 inch for television, so those are actually a little. They're better just because the head size is better. You don't have. You can. I use washers anyway. You don't have to because the head's big enough to hold. But so we got a little hole here. I'm just going to show you the back side. If I stick this in there and it comes through, this would probably be a good time for a close-up maybe. So you can actually see that it just kind of goes through, and once you push it through, you can swivel it out. And so once you get that on the inside, swiveled in there, you just zip this like a giant zip tie, and you get it flush in there. And then these break off. Actually, they're not quite flush because it's kind of hard to hold this all at one time. And then you break off. And so then you have a nut basically installed in the back of your drywall. So then you can put the screws through it. It's just like there's a pre-install, like a set nut or whatever they call it, and you can tighten up that. And I usually, you'll see my video about the cordless chuck and using the clutch on your drill. I usually get pretty high. I'll set my DeWalt to 11. Again, it doesn't translate to like foot-pounds or whatever, but you'll kind of get a feel for your material. You can just about strip this head out. You can put enough torque on it that it's pretty hard to tear that up. So that's the snap toggle. We use those a lot. Not my favorite actually. My favorite one are these. These are actually the plastic ones. I used to use these a lot. You can't use these on drywall. If you'll see my my page about that, I talk a little bit about that. Because with not with drywall, I'm sorry. With plaster, lath and plaster, because in the back of lath and plaster they have lath. It's actually little strips, like really thin strips of wood, and then the plaster is laid over that. Whereas drywall, there's no real solid material, it's just paper. So these are okay with drywall. Again, if you have crown molding, or you know your building's older, say than 1950, after the war they started using more modern materials during the building boom, you can use these plastic ones on drywall. There's a aluminum one that I prefer. You'll see there's a link in my site to these. You can purchase those Amazon or Home Depot or whatever. I prefer the ones that are metal because they always dry. So that, you know, even if you hit the stud, you can drive this in. I usually check for studs first by piloting the screw. I'll show you these plastic ones because they came in this set. So I kind of bought the set because it shows like all of them. Also, the plastic ones, if you are doing drywall, they hold a little bit more because they actually like spread. You can see there's like a little butterfly in there, and it'll actually like spread once you get the screw in. And these are really simple. Again, I usually pilot the hole first. So once I've lasered it off or whatever, and I got my mark, I'll actually just run that in there to feel it. And it also gives me like a starter hole too. So it's like, that way, like you saw, I just slipped off, and you kind of don't have to worry about that so much. So then you see it just push right through. So I know that's hollow behind it at that point. And then I can just kind of drive it right back out. And it'll be a little bit warm because you do that real fast. They heat up with the friction. So I just stick that in my pilot hole, and it's a self-tapping. You see it's going to drill out. Is that a good angle? Yeah, I can get out my light there. And it just drives itself right in. And if you set your drill down a little bit, it'll just stop when you get there. And that's it. And then once you put the screw back in there, it'll spread on the back side. So if we can see that. You can actually hear them pop if you listen real closely. And then these are really nice, simple. You can hang your pictures on this. You can put, you know, in shelving. I try not to use these for like shelvings or like towel hooks or something like that, because the constant pulling eventually do kind of wear that out. I would go for the toggles for those if you have to, or you know, if you just for simplicity or whatever you want to use these, they'll work. I mean, I've seen people hang TVs with these. I don't think they have quite enough, especially a full motion mount. I would never use these. Flush mount, especially a small television, would be fine. The other ones are kind of like more popular. These are a little bit improved because again, they're just they've got like a nice spread into them. But this is kind of like the stock that you would get, say, with your towel bar. I would just throw these away. I'll show you real quick how to use them anyway. But I would definitely not recommend those. You would use them, say, if it was like a I don't know, a masonry, just because like you kind of have to go in and spread. There's no going in behind it and then supporting it that way. So it'd be all right for like brick or something, but I would just use a masonry screw for brick. I get those, they're like the blue coated ones. They have a real quartz thread, and I would just use that. That's better than these. But anyway, do the same thing. Here's your little hole, and then you're just going to drive these in there. And usually use a rubber mallet for that. This way I don't score the wall so much, but sometimes I even use the back of the drill if you don't have a hammer handy. You just drive that flush, and then you can put the screws into it, just like you would with any of the other ones. And again, if that's all you have, if you have brick and you don't have masonry screws, they work pretty good for brick, because they do the same thing. They'll actually spread kind of on the back side. Let's put that in there and let you see it. No, I just had that demo like they have at the hardware stores where they already have them all pre-drilled. So you see that it spreads kind of wide, so it'll give you some hold, you know. But again, you're almost better just with a really good coarse screw. And then let's see, we got like these, they're like butterflies. Same idea. I can put that in if you want. You got the bigger, increasingly bigger drill bits for each of these. Usually on the package they'll tell you what size. Like I said, these the snap toggles that we use a lot, those are all like 1/2-inch drill bits, which a lot of people probably don't have in their toolkit. So, but you fold these this way. Again, there's like the old school butterflies. You can get this too, a little rubber mount. And they actually come with a little tool to spread them. You could probably just run the screw in there first, but they give you this to actually pop that on the other side.